Procter & Gamble. I met the chief executive of Procter & Gamble in DC a few months ago, and an entire room of compliance experts, including myself, scoffed at him when he was saying, the only reason he's doing it for sort of babies of Africa and so on. And we all said, no, you're doing it for your chips. And it might sell well in advertising if it wasn't selling well in DC.
And there's a very good point. Now, there are companies, by the way, when you walk in, you go, oh, wow, actually, they do have this aesthetic. One of my clients on the corporate side is Java Republic. Now, Java Republic is all about how to get you inclusive in the public. Well, if you go to their headquarters in Dublin, you're in the restaurant. And, there's nothing to hide, except the first time I turned up there, the shutters were down, there was a big fire raging. Opened up this new restaurant, and turned up and smoke everywhere, fire brigade. I have half my said there, closed the thing, but the shutters came down, basically, you can see what's there. But, if you have that aesthetic, Pat Whelan, who's a butcher in Clonmel, okay? Oh my goodness, the man, now he has a problem, he has a discrepancy between his website and what he actually does and what he talks about. So once he gets that sorted out, he can be coherent. But if you go into one of Pat's butcher shops, you've never seen a butcher shop like this. Anybody ever been to Clonmel in the butcher shop? Okay. It is astonishing. I have a photograph of anybody staying behind afterwards and show this picture. It is a shrine to meat. Not only that, it is a shrine to, let me show you what we do with the meat, how we treat the meat, before you get the meat. It's all visible. There's this big glass wall and the fridge where the meat is refrigerated is behind glass, where it's prepared. It's like this. Prepared there. So there are companies who actually go, okay, this is who we are, these are our true core values, and then that reflects on. Yeah, nice to be kids in Africa, but it's not really what they're about, is it? It's not really what they want to do. So authenticity is very important. With that comes something else. You have to be brave. Now, there's an American called Chris Brogan, and Chris talks about being brave. Because if you're going to tell genuine stories that will connect with people, you're going to have to open up. That goes for yourself and for your clients. That's why you need to pick clients very carefully if you're going to go down this digital storytelling route. Because they will try and sidetrack you. They will try and say, no, you can't show that. And then you know, okay, there's something wrong here with your value set between what you actually are and what you convey. Brittany Ferries, great example. Brittany Ferries has a huge tradition, a huge connection with Brittany. And I was actually allowed to photograph on board the Brittany Ferries ship, the main one that sails from Cork to Glasgow. And it was access all areas. Access all areas. Did you ask, you can go. Nothing will be here. The bridge, the engine room. And along the way, I'm talking to people. And I'm talking to the captain, who loves the company. Well, of course he does. He's the main man on the ship who's earning about 90 grand a year. Of course he loves the company. Well, let's just say to you, please, they love the company. They're actually part of the company. And the reason I was allowed to go everywhere is because the company knew that they had a strong value set, which was shared by their employees, who they could trust. Therefore, they had their story together. And the story of Brittany Ferries is very interesting. Brittany was a backward, kind of forgotten part of France. Paris, utterly not interested. So farmers got together and bought a ship because they thought, we can get our produce to Paris, which is really hard because the government won't build us a motorway, or we can get it to the UK. That's a lot easier. All we need is a ship. And we could do that. So they did. These farmers bought their own ship. Based on that first ship, that one ship, these farmers banding together to buy a ship and sailing as well. This company grew, and the whole region was lifted up on the shoulders of this company. And this company stood up for its own values. The staff on board, certainly 2 years ago, 3 years ago when I did the job, were all Bretons, all from Britain. They loved this company. Even, the lowest of the lowest on board loved the company because of what they'd done for the region, because they had their value set sorted, they knew what they stood for. They had their story straight. When you get that, you can go into the company. As you're saying, Procter & Gamble hasn't really got their story straight yet because it isn't a top-down, left, right, all the way around, 360, you name it, kind of thing. It's whose story do you tell? Oh, sorry, just to come back, you may as well have that. Here's a story. And remember I was talking about you have to open up, you have to be vulnerable. Okay?
Dreams are like angels, they keep at bay. Love is the light scaring darkness away. I'm so in love with you. Make love your goal. The power of love, a force from above, clean my soul. Flaming desire, love with tongues of fire, purge the soul. Make love your Make love your goal.
So, I don't know about you, first time I saw that, I was terrified. This snowman was going to get flattened. Something's going to happen to it. Now, that little piece of film, which is for John Lewis, which is a department store in the UK, and if you don't know the story of John Lewis, it's owned by its own leaders. So it has that tradition around this. It's actually quite an experience as well. So they have values that kind of really connect really well with this, but just in terms of the story, and Simon and I were talking earlier on, he showed me a piece of animation software for kids that actually had storytelling elements in it. It already there designed for you, the setup, the challenge, the quest, if you like, the threat, and the resolution. So immediately you kind of, I don't know, unless you're really cold-hearted, you probably kind of were a little bit concerned about this snowman, and you kind of touched. He had this quest, and he was vulnerable. So when you're telling a story, and come back to the question, start with why. You go to a client and say, well, what is it you do? Why do you do this? What do you want to achieve? Okay? A good story is about a quest. A good story is about a challenge, faced and overcome. Yeah? That's why it only works for certain companies that have a value set sorted. For yourselves, when you're telling your story, you're going to have to tell another story. Okay? So, for instance, I'll give you a bit of my background. I got into documentary photography because I suddenly saw the value of preserving moments in our history. I want to take a photograph, and I can't show it to you because it just really, it still affects me quite badly. But here's a sketch picture. There's a bed, a room, and on the bed is a lady, and she is skeletal. We're talking just walked out of Auschwitz, Bergen-Belsen skeleton. Yeah. Next to her is her husband, and on the other side of her is her then 7-year-old. And there's a little moment of interaction. It's not a posed picture. It's a genuine moment in the life of these two people, where the daughter, 7-year-old, kind of jumping on the bed all enthusiastic. The mum, in clearly a lot of pain, she has a smile on her face. She's connecting with her daughter. And then there's the husband, kind of looking at her. So I took this picture, and 3 days later, the lady in the photograph was dead. And from that moment, I thought, oh my God, this daughter's going to grow up with her mother. But I have this picture. I have a photograph. When she is 12, 13, 14, 27, 37, 48, she'll be able to look at this photograph and know she was. So I get quite emotional. So it's me opening up my story to you, because that's my system. So, whose story do you tell? Well, there are various options. So this was designed on a Mac and is now being projected on a PC, so it's all discussion. Anyway, you can tell your story. Very powerful. When you're telling the story of your company or your client's company, you can hang it on the hat of an individual. I mentioned Pat Freeland, this butcher, who really has these strong aesthetics about how you should treat meat before it's slaughtered. You know, he's really, he took me on a tour and he took me to a slaughterhouse. And within 50 yards, we had animals that were stabled, animals on death row, animals being killed. Do you think there was any stress? Not a bit. He's really, really keen that his animals are treated well before they're slaughtered, and slaughtered properly, and that the meat is treated properly, which he will show you if you go to his shops. Okay? So you can hang it on an individual, because this is all Pat Freeland is doing. You can hang the story of your product. It could be the story of your product. Why not? Well, the product is often the why of the business. So rather than saying, oh, I'm going to talk about me, you can say, I'm going to talk about my product. The good things that it does, the things, you know, that I've put in there. I mean, when you think of Dyson, he really talks about his product rather than himself, doesn't he? And what do we know about Dyson's product? Well, they bloody work, they're ingenious, and he's just launched a €1,000 tap, which also dries your hands at the same time, and it's the most environmentally friendly tap certainly invented. So we know that his product, so he hangs his stories on his product. Really important one. This is one of the most powerful ones that you can concentrate on. Your customer story. Remember we were talking about community building around your product? Well, if you can connect by telling your customer's story, i.e. what is it they want, which is what Apple used to do really well, you know, there was a little bit about the product, but it was always, in Apple's case, about the experience. Here is an Apple product, and holy God, it actually works. You know, it's a nice experience. This is, we're focusing on your needs, the customer. Most of us not really that technically savvy, and really struggling with computers. Well, we'll focus on you, and we'll tell your story. Our products will connect with you because they're based on your story. Location, Irish food producers. Wow, I mean, what a growth industry at the moment. Irish food producers, passed down food producers, slightly larger ones, absolutely fabulous. And the reason they do is they can concentrate on the location, which is aspirational. I mean, you mustn't forget how people view, you know, the Irish landscape, forget about the whole Guinness situation, how people view Ireland in terms of its natural beauty. Wow, you know, and you're producing food on this, and, oh my God, it must be nectar. You know? So you can do that. There are tons of things that you can focus on. So you need to sort of figure out, okay, where is our strongest storytelling point? What is our strongest story? Time for a video. Here is a man. Does anybody know this man, by the way? Yeah. You do. You know his coming. Here is a man who tells his story. Okay, he tells his story